Today is day 2 of our Mediterranean 28-day plan that we started. And I just wanted to share a recipe that I thought might be really interesting to some of you who haven't purchased the book and maybe want to learn about some of the recipes. But first, I just wanted to share. So last night I had some broccoli. It was a ginger garlic broccoli. It was actually kind of fried up in the pan with a little bit of olive oil. It was really delicious. And then I had some salmon with these different kinds of herbs and lemon over the top of it with a half a cup of brown rice. So today, for dinner tonight, I'm going to be having some chicken Gyros. That's Gyros, in case I didn't spell it or pronounce it correctly. And that's going to be served with some tzatziki sauce. So that is such I love eating those. I usually have them in a Mediterranean restaurant, so I'm really excited to try them. And that's going to be served with some roasted zucchini and Parmesan sticks. So I can't wait for dinner tonight, so I thought I would show you the recipe. So this is the recipe for the chicken Gyros with the tzatziki sauce. And you can see it calls for some chicken, onion, rosemary, marjoram, cloves, sea salt, black pepper, and some tzatziki sauce. So we're going to be making both of those, and I'm going to show you how I do this. Now I'm going to start off by taking a boneless chicken breast, and I'm just going to run it through my mini food processor. I'm only making this for myself, and that includes one dinner for tonight and lunch for tomorrow. So all I'm going to do is just cut this chicken, just kind of roughly, just put it into this food processor. So all I'm going to do is turn my food processor on and get this pureed to the point where I have a really nicely ground chicken. I'm going to keep processing that. So I actually don't have any dried rosemary, so I'm going to be putting about a tablespoon of fresh rosemary in. If I had dried rosemary, I'd be putting in a couple tablespoons, but this is really strong, and I think it's going to be more than enough for this recipe. It also calls for some grated onion. Now, I'm going to go ahead and grate some of this up. Now, I'm not going to have as much as what the recipe calls for because I'm only making this for one person. So I'm thinking maybe about 1/6 of an onion. So one thing you want to do after you grate up your onion, you'll see there's just so much juice from it. We're going to try to wring some of this out with a wet paper or with a dry paper towel. And this will just help get some of this excess moisture out of the onion. So what I'm going to do at this point is just put this strained onion inside of my mixture. It's kind of all mixed up in the paper towel here, but that's okay. You don't want all that water in here. It's going to make it too moist. The other thing we're going to add to this is a garlic clove. Going to add a little dash of sea salt. And then we're also going to add some freshly ground pepper. I'm going to leave the marjoram out. I thought that I had some, but I don't. I'm going to give this a good spin and get everything all mixed up. That looks beautiful. Oh, wow, that smells so good. Wow. I guess the onion and the garlic. Oh, it really smells amazing. So, okay, this looks good. I think this is just the texture that I want. So one of the things that's different about this Gyro, the one you'll get in a Mediterranean restaurant, is that this Gyro is not fried. It is going to be baked, and I'm going to put it in a little silicone loaf because this is just for me. And I need enough for today's dinner and tomorrow's lunch. And so I'm just going to kind of pack it down, almost like a little mini meatloaf. And This is one piece of chicken. This is how it's gonna look with one piece of chicken. So I'm gonna go ahead and shape this chicken loaf into one of these little loaf pans, like I said, but I want it to really have the shape of a little mini loaf. It actually looks really good. Look at that, really nice. And I'm gonna go ahead and bake that in a preheated 350-degree oven until the internal temperature of the chicken comes up to 165. So while our chicken hero meat is in the oven baking, we're gonna start with our tzatziki sauce. Now, I'm gonna make mine a little bit different than the book tells you. They tell you to grate the cucumber and kind of mix it all together. I love my food processor and I'm just gonna put everything in there. So let me show you how I do it. So you're gonna start off with a cup of non-fat Greek yogurt. This is just gonna be plain yogurt. It's not gonna have any flavoring in it. Next, you're gonna take about a tablespoon of fresh dill. Now, I actually have quite a bit of dill growing out in my garden right now. So I am gonna be just cutting this very lightly, and then I'm going to be putting it through the food processor. So this is going to come out just fine. It may be a little bit more than a tablespoon, but I love fresh dill. It's actually one of my most favorite herbs. Next, we're going to put in a clove of garlic. So I am just going to peeling off this. Kind of squash it a little so I can get the peeling off it pretty easily. And then the only other thing that we're going to add to this is our cucumber. Now this recipe calls for a full cucumber, and I'm going to put this in just because I'm going to be making extra. So I'm going to start off by peeling my cucumber. I want all of this green off. And all I'm gonna do is just put this right through my food processor. I'm just gonna roughly chop it because we're gonna put this through the food processor. It's actually gonna blend it up really good. All right, so we're gonna put that in there. We're gonna put a little bit of salt and a little bit of freshly ground pepper. Then we're just gonna put the lid on and process that for a little bit until it's all chopped up. And that's it, tzatziki sauce. How easy is all this? Seriously. Now this tzatziki sauce has to be refrigerated for up to an hour, but longer is better. This is one of those things where all of the flavors meld with time. So I am just gonna pour this right into a container here. Just gonna put a lid on this and I'm gonna throw it in the refrigerator until it's time to put our hero together. So the thing that makes this dish really amazing in my book is the fact that you can make this ahead of time and have it as a sandwich or a dinner or a lunch anytime, as long as you have this on hand. So my chicken loaf is almost done. My tzatziki is cooling off in the onion, and when it's about some time before we eat, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I make those Parmesan zucchini fries. So next I'm going to get started on these delicious sounding Parmesan zucchini sticks. They look super easy, and I just think they're going to be very tasty. I'm going to be making the recipe for 2 servings. The recipe in the book is for 4 servings, but I'm gonna have a serving tonight and a serving tomorrow. So let me show you how we do this. So I am gonna take 2 zucchinis, and I'm basically gonna cut the ends off of both of these. And then I'm going to just cut these into strips that I'm going to cut these into strips that I can put into the oven and cook up just like French fries. So I'm going to make mine about this size, and I'm going to put them in a bag. You can put them on a bowl if that's easier for you, but we're going to be mixing up some ingredients, and I just want to make sure that, I have these ingredients mixed up as good as possible. So into our zucchini, we're gonna put about a tablespoon of olive oil right over our zucchini. And then we're gonna put about 1/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese over the zucchini as well. So I'm gonna take a couple big tablespoons. I think that'll do it. I'm gonna use some pepper, some freshly ground pepper. I'm gonna have about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna take some Italian seasonings and I'm gonna put in approximately 1/2 tablespoon of Italian seasonings. Now these are my Homestead Patch seasonings. I actually grow these in my garden. I'm gonna put those in. And then lastly, I'm gonna be putting in some garlic. And I'm not gonna put much in this, only about 1/8 teaspoon. There's some other flavorings going in here. And I like doing this in a plastic bag because all I have to do then is just give this a little toss. Now you could do the same thing in a bowl. Just, this is so easy. You can't believe it. All right, so now I'm gonna finish tossing up my zucchinis. I'm gonna give this pan a quick spray. Not gonna use much, I just don't want these zucchini to stick in any way. And then I'm just gonna pour these right onto the pan. Just like this. And there you go. We're gonna go throw this in a preheated oven at 350 degrees. And we're gonna cook this for 15 to 20 minutes. It's gonna make these zucchini soft, but then we're gonna broil them. So let me put these in the oven and I'll bring you back in just a couple minutes. All right, it's time to put our Mediterranean meal together. So we're gonna start off by cutting our chicken into slices. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut all of this. So we're gonna take 1/2 whole wheat pita. So I'm gonna put my sandwich right here, like this. All right, our tzatziki's been in the refrigerator for about 1.5 hours. I'm just gonna kind of pour this all over it. Like I said, I'm gonna be using a knife and a fork. And I'm gonna save the other half for tomorrow. Okay, let's give this delicious sandwich a try. As I said, I'm gonna have to try it with a fork because there's no way I can pick this up. It's just a mess. We're gonna try the sandwich first. Wow. So good. Let's give our fry a try. Why have I been eating French fries all this time? These are spectacular. I could eat these every day of the week. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Gotta give it a try. So if you are not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give this Mediterranean diet a try. I can't see how we're gonna lose any weight on this diet, but I got my fingers crossed because I really like this food so far. So until next time, I'll see you later. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.